Hey everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrap Me Quick Designs in the Let's Learn Cricut Explore Facebook group, and I am going to talk about the Cricut Bright Pad today. Now, I know there's a lot of videos going on out there about the Bright Pad, but I wanted a chance to use mine, and unfortunately, mine showed up and then I was out of town for a week on vacation. So I'm just now getting around to a point where I've used it for the past week pretty extensively so that I could give you my honest opinion. Everybody's been messaging me or asking me where my video is so that you guys know that I always give you like the full out truth when I'm reviewing products. And so I wanted to have time to really have used this. And so the first thing I wanted to show you is it does come, it's very well packaged, it's beautiful packaging, and this is I'm just going to show you as you open it up. So you would get your Bright Pad, so it's very nicely done. So all of the Bright Pads, no matter what color it is, they all look the same on the front. That was the first thing I want to tell you. So they all have this white trim. It looks like a giant iPad. This one is, let me make sure I say this correctly. They are 9 by 11.5, so it's 9 inches by 11.5. That's the image surface that you would have to use. So it's 9 inches this way, and it is 11.5 inches this direction, and that is the actual surface area where the light will shine. Okay, the iPad itself, the Bright Pad itself is 11 inches this way, and I want to say it was 13. Yeah, it's 13 the other direction. Okay, so it's a decent size. It's lightweight enough, but it's substantial enough that I don't feel like I'm going to bend it. I will be honest with you. I had a different light pad that I bought, and I had used that one before Cricut ever came out with this one. Okay, so I wasn't super happy with it. It's not something that I recommended people buy, so that's why you did not see a video from me on it. And it was okay. It didn't quite get as bright as it needed to be, and I felt like if I put any pressure at all on it as I was using it, it was going to bend. And so I really like the weight and feel of the Bright Pad. It's light enough for me to hold it easily in my hands. The size is good. But like I was saying, on the front, they're all white. When people are asking me, well, what about the color? I want one with color. The color is on the back of the Bright Pad, okay? So it comes in several different colors, so they match the Cricut colors. So the one I have is the mint. It matches my mint Cricut machine. You know, they have it in the rose, that pink color, and they have it in, I think, blue. And I don't know if there'll be other colors coming out. But anyway, but the back is the only part where the color is. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care what color it is, because I'm really not going to see this, because when I'm using it, it's going to be sitting in my, you know, on my, either in my lap or on my desk. I'm not going to see the color. But I do want to point out that it has very nice silicone pad on the back and one in the center. Now, why is that one in the center so important? That means that when you flip this over, you have some center support all the way across the back of this to distribute the weight. So that is a big difference from some of the other light pads that were out there. And so this comes, anyway, we're going to talk about the features in just a minute of this particular, but let's go ahead and finish taking it out of the box. So you also get the little Bright Pad brochure comes with it, and it has some, you know, nice, it lets you know what everything's called as far as what's on the Bright Pad, and then it gives you some ideas of things to use it for. So tracing or quilting and paper piecing, good detail work. I know that I've made a lot of jewelry in my life, and some of those little tiny beads are really hard to see when you're crafting, and you can put that on your Bright Pad and then be able to do your beading, which I think is brilliant. I never would have thought of that. And let's see, what else? And then they of course talk to you about the fact that it's working with glitter vinyl, works great with glitter vinyl, and also working with the glitter iron-on. Okay, so, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, the products that I've tried with it. So you get this nice little brochure, nicely done, Cricut, and then there's the warranty and the FFC statement. So, you know, there you have that. And then your cord is here in the middle. Okay, so I love that it's a flat cord. I just like flat cords. They just seem to hold up better for me than the round ones. I don't know why. I think because I'm really rough on my cords. Just ask my husband. So in the center here, this is going to be your power supply. So you would plug that into your outlet, and there's a USB end. Okay, so you can either plug this into the wall. Here we go. I'm going to move this out of our way so we can talk about this. Okay, so you're going to have this because other people were asking me about this too, so I wanted to be sure and show y'all. This is the power supply, and then this is the USB end, and it would go in here, and then this will go into your power outlet, and then this piece goes on the top of your bright pad. Okay, there's a little slot right here, and it just slips right in there. Okay, so that's how you would power it up. So you would need to plug this into an outlet. Now, the other option that you have is you can take this out, take the power supply off of it, and I can plug it into my laptop, because when I'm crafting, usually my laptop is right here by me anyway, and so it will then power your laptop, power your bright pad on. Okay, so those are your two options for that. Now, if you wanted to work with this remotely, maybe you didn't want to be by your laptop and you weren't sitting where you had, it's a decent sized cord. I have not measured it. I can do that right now so y'all know. It is, let's see, 1, this is not scientific, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6-foot cord, guys. Okay, so it's 6 foot, so that's a good amount of space. So if you were near a power outlet, and you could, you know, you would have a good amount of cord to use. So it's 6-foot cord, and then but I also have one of those battery backup powers supply that I use with my iPad Pro when I travel with it. So I could also, if I wanted to be somewhere where I didn't have power, I would be able to use my battery backup. Okay, and I'll post a link for that too if y'all want to see it. I've had it for a while. I like it, and it's about $40, but I use it for business travel so that I always have power for my iPad Pro. Anyway, so, but it's another way for me to use it. If I want to sit and work in my living room with my husband and do some weeding, sometimes I like to cut everything, and then while we're watching TV or a movie, I'll weed. Y'all do that too? I bet you do. Okay, so let's talk about the bright pad. So here's the bright pad. I've got it on my crafting table here, and up in the left hand corner here you have your power supply, or your power button. So there's the power button. Then the plus and the minus. I love the fact I can see these, and these are raised buttons. They are not where you're kind of trying to figure out where the power is on here, or where you have to push to get it to change the levels. All right, I really love that. The other light pad that I had, it had where you had to just keep holding your finger on it, and then sometimes if you didn't have it exactly in the right spot, I wasn't turning it on right, or it wasn't changing to the different levels. And so I love the fact that it's got raised buttons. I really do. That makes it easy, particularly like if I'm going to be working in the living room and we're watching a movie and I want to have my bright pad and I'm weeding, and maybe I'm not sitting right next to my husband, but he's in the same room with me. I don't want to have the light on in the room and be over here trying to figure out where my buttons are. So without the light on, these light up, so you're easily able to see them. All right. So I'm going to turn the power on. Let's turn it back on. So there is level 1, and then I can click again, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, okay? So it has 5 brightness levels. So depending upon the material that I'm using that I'm trying to see through, I can adjust the brightness, which is a nice feature, and it's easy to do, and I can turn it back down, okay? So that works out really great. Now, let's talk about, I'm just going to put this on here so we can see this. This is an image. Oh, it's just a coloring page from my granddaughter's coloring book. But I wanted to show you that with just a regular piece of tracing paper, copy paper, you can clearly see this even on the lowest setting. You start seeing the image. Okay, so if you're going to do any tracing and you want to use the bright pad, you can really do that. Also, like if you're going to be stamping, you could have, maybe you have an image that you're trying to stamp around an image, you could do it with that. So maybe this is a piece of copy paper. I'm going to use a piece of 110-pound cardstock, okay? And you can still see it here, but as I turn up the level, you start seeing it more, okay? See how much clearer that is now? That is at 4, that was at 5, okay? So as I go down, you know, you start seeing less of the image. This is with it in position 1, which is okay, but all the way up I can really see that well, okay? So this is just with a piece of with a piece of 110-pound cardstock. But let's say, I know y'all were asking me, can you see it through colored cardstock? Okay, so I'm going to turn it back down. So with that same piece with a piece of colored on it, probably on the camera you can't see it very clearly. I can faintly see the line, but as I start adding more light, I can easily see it on colored cardstock too. So if I was going to be stamping some images and I wanted to line things up or whatever, I would be able to do that. Or if I wanted to trace, or sometimes you're working on coloring pages. Some of you loved that coloring with your markers and everything. And sometimes you want to be able to see the little tiny pieces a little bit easier as you're coloring them. You know, you could certainly put them on your bright pad to be able to do that. Okay, now let's talk about the vinyl, all right, because that's the big question. What will it cut? What can you see it through? Okay, now I have already done a test. I am not going to painstakingly show y'all that because it's really hard to record it, but I cut, just so you know, when I was doing my test, because that's what this is about, letting you know what I tested, I cut some regular Cricut vinyl, okay, just the indoor vinyl. And when I was weeding, okay, when I went up to the higher levels, I could actually see the outline to be able to weed, all right? If it was a lighter color of vinyl. If it was a dark color of the regular vinyl, I had a little bit more trouble trying to get it for me to see the lines. So I just wanted to be honest about that. I know some people are saying that they can see it. If you're looking directly over it instead of at an angle, you can see it better. So if you are leaning over on top of it, you see it a lot better, as opposed to if you have it out in front of you looking at it at an angle. All right, so that's another tip for you. Make sure you're looking down straight onto it and you will be able to see the cut lines a little bit easier. So this was regular vinyl, so I tried the regular Cricut vinyl. I also did the outdoor vinyl. The outdoor vinyl, same thing. You know, with the lighter colors I could see a little bit better. With the darker colors I really couldn't see very well. This piece actually is one of the metallic vinyls, and it you know, was okay. I could see it a little bit, but so I wanted to tell you that. Now the next thing I tried to cut was the adhesive foil vinyl. Oh my gosh, guys, the adhesive foil vinyl cut great, and I was able to weed it much easier using the bright pad. And what I did was I did have to turn it all the way up for me to be able to see the cut lines on it. All right, so on the foil it works awesome. Let's see, what's the next thing? Oh, okay. And then I have, of course, because you know I love glitter, I have glitter vinyl. Okay, now the glitter vinyl did awesome. Okay, so you can really see through this. You can see you know, how the light's coming through the liner to see the image. And of course I've already weeded these, but it works great with the glitter vinyl. All right, so that to me, if you're doing a lot of glitter vinyl work, the glitter is the hardest thing to see. Okay, and I have a demo where I show you in a different video that when I have a weeding video that I talk about weeding specifically, and I show you how I use the bright pad and weeded the vinyl. Okay, and then we have regular heat transfer vinyl. Okay, so just the regular smooth heat transfer vinyl, and this one, it was okay. I really couldn't see the lines as well. Even when I turned it all the way up, I was having trouble with seeing the pieces to weed them out on the heat transfer vinyl. Okay, that's just the plain smooth one. Kind of like the same, is almost the same as when I was trying to weed the regular vinyl. Okay, but it was awesome when I used the Cricut glitter vinyl, the glitter heat transfer vinyl. Okay. And when I turned it up, I didn't even have to have it up past 3 and I could still see it. But when I got up to 5, oh my gosh, it saved me so much time. And a lot of those more intricate images that everybody's cutting, all those mandalas that everybody's cutting and using it with the printed vinyl, it is so much easier to see it when you have a bright pad. Okay. Let's see. The other thing is it stays cool to touch, so it is not getting hot. Okay, so I've had it on for a while, so I wanted to talk about that. I'm going to turn it off for a minute. I have actually used it when I was trying to line up a couple of paper images because I wanted to see how the paper piercing thing worked. I wasn't that crazy about it. If I had an image that I printed out, like the coloring sheet, and then I was trying to layer my paper pieces, that would be okay. But I don't really see using it for that. Tracing, I did do some tracing. The tracing worked out fine, of course. I don't do a lot of tracing. That's not something that is in my wheelhouse that I turn to a lot. I'm mainly using it as a crafting tool to help me with my weeding when I'm using some of these different types of vinyl. Okay, but it does stay cool to touch. I did want to let you know that because it's got those pads on the back of it, that as I was weeding, I did a lot of weeding, not just what you see here, but I've been using this for a bunch of different projects. And even when I press on it hard and I'm doing the weeding and I'm holding the stuff down, this is staying completely flat and smooth. Okay, the other light pad that I had, I'm telling you, every time I was trying to use it, I mean, I felt like I was about to poke a hole through it because it was bending and it was really curving a little bit when I was using it. And of course, this one, she says we can drop it. So there we go. I dropped it. I have knocked it off, accidentally knocked it off my craft table. Yes, I did. And it was fine. It still works. It works great. It's very sturdily built. Now, the other thing is this resin or acrylic or whatever they call this that's on the top, it is thicker than what you're going to find on any of the other light boxes. Okay, so it is more durable. All right, that's another difference. I know people are saying, well, this one costs more than the the little ones that I can buy on Amazon or whatever. Well, you get what you pay for. Okay, and so that's all I'm going to say about that. And I just feel like this is a quality product and that you are going to get your money out of this. Now, I have 2 other things I wanted to show you. A couple of the other light boxes from different vendors have their own self-healing mat or a glass mat that you can put on top of this. So if you wanted to use it for, let's say you wanted to use it to line up stamped images, I found this doll self-healing mat. It's like 10 bucks on Amazon. Okay, and I don't know where else you can get it, but it's like 10 bucks on Amazon, and it would fit right here on top of my light pad. Okay, it's a perfect size, and then when I hit the button, I can turn that up, and let's say let's say that I had some cardstock. I'll just use this. Let's say I had some cardstock and I wanted to line up a stamp, or I wanted to handwrite something, and I wanted it to be straight when I was doing it. Maybe I was doing some calligraphy. A lot of people are using this for when they're doing calligraphy on projects. So because they can see the image. Maybe you've done a trace and then you want to go over it with the calligraphy pen. You know, there's a lot of different things. But this, I can clearly see the grid mat now underneath it, and the surface is protected. So I kind of like that for 10 bucks. You could certainly just print out a grid, and there's different sites where you can get a grid that you can print out. And but if you're interested in the self-healing mat, I will put a link out there for that for you too. So this I got really just because I was thinking maybe it would help me when I was cutting images or cropping something. And this is a self-healing mat. That means that I could use my X-Acto knife or whatever if I needed to trim or cut something. I could do that, and I would be able to see it much clearer with the light shining from underneath it. Okay, so that was the other thing. And then I think the Cricut box is really beautiful and it's very well made. I'm not going to store it in that, okay? I wanted something that would be cuter and prettier and something that would be more fun to have in my craft room than the Cricut box. And so I'm going to turn this off now, okay? And we'll let my light adjust. So I bought, it's a neoprene sleeve that is the perfect size. I measured, I did a lot of research. I was trying to find something that would fit my bright pad for me to keep in my craft room. So here is the neoprene sleeve, and it even has a pocket here so I can put the cord, and the power supply will go right in here, so that'll be awesome. And I will show you it fits perfectly in here. Oh, I even have some paper stuck in there. So I will link this up for you guys, and it comes in a bazillion colors. Of course, I got pink, but the bright pad fits in here perfectly. And now I feel like it is protected, and I can put the cord, and that's my thing is I have all these electronic devices and they all have different cords, right? And so I always like to get something that's going to store them. So I'm just going to wrap my cord real quick here. And I can keep my cord right in here. And now I have everything for my bright pad right here. I can even go back in and add doll self-healing mat and stick that in here. So I've got everything for my bright pad right here, right by me. Okay, and this, it does stretch a little bit, so then it fits right around there. It's not too big, it's just slightly bigger on the side, but I wanted it a little bit bigger. And then I actually am going to take some heat transfer vinyl and put my logo on here. So I haven't had a chance to do that yet. But that is kind of my review of the Cricut Bright Pad. What do I think about it? How did it compare to the one I've used before? Different things that I've tried it with so far, and a couple of different ideas for storing it after you get it out of the box. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help answer questions when you guys are asking me to give you my honest opinion about different products, and I will be looking forward to your feedback on what you think about the Cricut Bright Pad. And maybe it's a special treat for you. Maybe you don't really have to have it. Maybe it's something that you want. It might make a great birthday present from somebody or a couple of somebody's, or you know, the holidays will be coming up. But anyway, I will post a link for you to purchase this on Cricut.com. Of course, if you purchase using my link, I get a little money from Cricut as a thank you from them, and then it doesn't cost you anymore, but I give you my promo code SMQD, and then you end up with 15% off of your Bright Pad. So that might be a good way to do that. And if you are a Cricut Access member, you get an additional 10% off. And if you're a Cricut Circle member, you get an additional 10% off. So those would really help knock the price down a little bit for you and be more in line with maybe a few of the other light pads that you're seeing. But this one is, I'm telling you, it is very well made. It's sturdy. It's going to last. The light is phenomenal on this. It's a true white light. It's not a blue tinged light. My other light pad kind of had a weird color to it, which I wasn't crazy about. And this one really is great. So anyway, there is the Cricut Bright Pad review. Talk to you guys later. Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also come join us in the Let's Learn Cricut Explore Facebook group. Bye.